Yo, you're listening to a podcast from my show, The Royal Flush. Check it out Friday nights at 10 o'clock p.m. Central on the Get Global Network. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Pass that lighter off the dresser. Stay fresh. Yes, sir. Is you the best? Yes, sir. You from the text? Yes, sir. Pass that swisher off the dresser. You get blow. Yes, sir. You stay cold. Yes, sir. Boy, you throw. Yes, sir. Pass that lighter off the dresser. You stay fresh. Yes, sir. Is you the best? Yes, sir. You from the text? Yes, sir. Pass that swisher off the dresser. Check it. I'm so Texas. Maroon agate.
Yo, what's up? This is the one and only James the Fiddle, James the Fourth, and you are listening to the Royal Flush on Yes Sir FM. What's up, Radio World? We hitting this topic today with a couple of things. We'll be talking about some things from the rap world. Quote unquote topic of the day: Kanye West, Mr. Yeezus himself. Kanye versus everybody. It's kind of what's been on the dome. So I'm going to be hitting on some freestyle topics on that today. And I want to say what's up to everybody out there in Radio World once again, because it's been a couple of weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Had some things off, got a lot of things in work, been working on a mixtape. Not a mixtape, but actually a project for the Dallas Hip Hop All-Star. So I'm going to be playing a couple of cuts off for that today. From artist D Slim, AV the Great. I got my man JP sitting there also. So y'all be checking out a couple of these cats that I'll be working with over the next few months. And just feeling good to get this music and this social media back out here, man, for the 2016. Just saying what's up to my man A. Belfield. He won't be able to call in today. Prime Minister Hey. So I'll be rocking it solo with my program director, Mr. K to the Rose. What's up, K?
Hey, and you know, as we start the show, I want to have you go through for one moment. And, you know, we're live, Yes Sir FM. We'll be on Divas on 24 coming in, so Metro Talk.
Yes, sir.
We need to make sure people understand the difference between a real, like, basic street project and a mixtape. There are a lot of people that don't even know what they hear the word mixtape, but they don't even know what the hell it is.
It's like saying album. What's an album? What's an EP? Yeah, most definitely. I mean, everybody's digitally programmed now. So, you know, we coming from the analog era. We actually been in the digital era for a while. You think more people would actually be in tune to it. But to me, my whole version of a mixtape, quote unquote tape, and that's just jargon because we know that no one's putting out tapes anymore. I hope not, unless we got Terrence Howard running around here passing his demo to Ludacris.
It's always a possibility. But there are people that didn't know even the origin of what it meant. They think it's just mixtape, and they thought about it being a cassette, but they don't even know what a mixtape was.
It's a promotional tool to introduce the audience to new artists, whether it's R&B, rap, quote unquote. It's kind of like a way to say, hey, this movie's coming soon, so we're going to give you this pilot, you know, just to see if y'all like it first, you know, if that makes sense. You kind of test her out here, and it's kind of just introducing the audience to the next up-and-coming. But in the process, you normally would get a popular DJ because everybody know that's part of the hip-hop culture. The DJ is a lost art. It's coming back now, but, you know, I say the past 10, 15 years, the DJ has kind of fell out of focus for a minute until mixtapes got back heavy. Am I not mistaken?
Well, I mean, I think if you would have, which I've talked to several DJs, but if you would have them say it, I don't think it's as much they fell off as much as it is their place in the business.
People didn't really acknowledge them as much anymore.
Right.
It was more about the rapper.
It has changed as far as how they're plugged into the business and how people go through the business. There's a DJ war going on, not, you know, necessarily bad, but it's out there. It's a little, let me call it a skirmish between some artists in Dallas and some of the DJs. But
yeah,
DJs held a bigger position when mixtapes existed. When they first started out, DJs were definitely a major piece of what had to happen when you had a mixtape. As a mixtape.
I agree.
And so the
DJ pretty much even
they used to host the mixtapes. That was, I mean, as they evolved, the DJ was basically hosting the mixtape to give the artist who did the mixtape or that compilation validity.
What the DJ says is law. When you talk about radio and what's hot, they're pretty much the go-to-go A&R, so to speak, you know, between the streets and the machine, which is the label. So by this DJ playing this artist, or saying quote unquote James Fourth or quote unquote JP Sadiq Slim, like some of the artists I'm doing, I'm not a DJ, but what the DJ would do is say, hey, y'all check out these guys. You like this person? Well, check out. You like Drake? Well, you feeling this? You know, they may play popular cuts from some of the artists you know, but you would have another bulk of artists on there that you never heard of that's supposed to be the next up and coming. So that was the way for them to kind of test the record. It was a way for them to kind of validate that this next person coming out is who y'all need to be checking for. But now the mixtape era, or the genre that we call it now, people are just putting out unauthorized music that's not titled to a project, or that's not associated to a project, you know, which would be an album, which consists of this record or this song having relativity to the next record and having a connection. You know, it kind of builds a whole entire project. Now you just have people that's just putting out singles. They're putting out singles on one project and calling it a mixtape with no DJ on it. There's no mixing going on it, because that was an art form that was on the mixtape. You would actually mix into the next song, right? Okay? You would mix it into the next song.
Right.
Next thing would come on. You mix out. So the DJ was actually present on the mixtape. He was talk through the songs. You know, up and coming next artist James Ford. You know, the new mixtape coming out so and so. So y'all check out that album in June. Right. That's when I remember used to listen to mixtapes. When I listened to them, they would let you know that new Tupac album coming in June. So you're like, okay, this is the promotional tool. You didn't sell it. It was a giveaway.
Well, and that's one of the things about mixtape. You had it mixed. It was basically the DJ putting a mix together of that artist. Over music
that we already heard.
Yeah, exactly. And the artist may jump into an instrumental and do their verses on an instrumental, but still that mix came from the world of the DJ being involved in it also, because they used to do it without artists, as you mentioned in the beginning. You'd get
with funk, with I've heard R&B and soul mixtapes. I've heard Ron Isley over Rick James. Over Super Freak, and you may hear, you know, they would actually do it because what it would do is that it was your way to test things, but you would get records like a club DJ. Actually, it's kind of like when you hear artists come into the club. You know, we had those moments a lot back in the day, and you know, offer the DJ quote unquote this and that to play the record, and the DJ would actually say, hey, it doesn't fit into my mix,
right? Because
they're actually playing records that are in a certain tempo. And it has to fit the mix, has to fit the format. They're not just going to stop Young Jeezy and throw you in there if that's going to disrupt the groove of the music, if that makes sense.
Well, but that's the whole misunderstanding that artists who are not doing their due diligence and learning about their craft, they think that all I got to do is walk into the club, give the DJ $100, $25, whatever, you know, depending on what
it is. For the unmixed single you got been playing in your car, that sounds good.
Yeah, just took it out the bathroom. You just recorded it with your boys, and then you take it in there to the DJ. Real DJs, and I'm going to make sure I say this the right way. A real DJ prepares his mix for his show, his club, you know, set. So he's been
listening to it before he gets there.
Yeah, he knows what he's going to throw in. He knows the songs that are hot, and he knows that if I throw in, you know, K Rose on some stuff that I've never heard,
people gonna look back at you like, what's going on, man?
It don't mix. It doesn't mix in. There are beats per minute. You know, there are all kinds of elements to it that DJs have. But then K Rose comes in with $100, and he just, you know, now the DJ may play it, but it won't be played. He may play the whole thing, but it may be 5 people in the club. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you'll get a full play then before the house get back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll put me in the mix when the club is pretty much dead, which is, again, that's part of the way this world works.
Oh, they'll put it in there. They'll put it in during the mix when they walk away from the table.
Right.
Go to the restroom.
No time when it's hyped, and most of the time you're really not going to be played artists. We giving y'all, you know, some real out there. and that's why it's changed. There are a lot of people that don't do that as much anymore. That the whole game has changed because now I can make a YouTube video of the song and post it up and try and get people to hit that video and listen to it.
I've seen that, and you got nothing but the words on there?
Oh, yeah, nothing but the words, and you can just put somebody's butt out and have her on there jiggling, or you can get them to do, hey, why don't y'all the
Twerking to the song?
send me a video of you twerking to the song. It's all that stuff exists now, but that the world of the mixtape was part of the mechanism to get the artist out there. But now people really should understand, unless you are rapping over the top of an industry track, or you're rapping over a beat that you pulled off the internet that you don't have access to and you don't have the ability to control it.
And it drops all over the beat.
Oh, J.J. Johnson, hi! All that in there, that is considered, quote, mixtape. But what you're doing is different from that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
What compilation together.
A compilation, exactly, of authorized music through the producers. That's unknown tracks. It's not we're not rapping rapping over Drake or Young Thug. It's all original music. It's all kind of like what we promote here on Yes Sir FM. Independently, artist that has a universal, that has a mainstream major sound. All the production has been checked for. It's mixed, it's mastered. At the same time, these artists are, these artists are artists that are out here that can compete with what's out there, in my vision. And that's what I want to do, is put together a compilation, a whole collage, a compilation of music of artists that you don't get to hear every day, because we have those names in the city that rings bells, but it's a lot of other artists who don't get that same look. And I just feel like we spend more time complaining about what the radio and what the DJs and other labels are not doing, that we don't take it in our own hands. Kind of like here on Yes Sir FM, what we do on Yes Sir FM and Soul Metro. We kind of build our own brand here, and we promote ourselves, and we put out the stuff that we want to hear, that we think people will like. At the same time, you still have to leave it in the hands of the audience, because they still dictate what's hot and what's not. So that's just kind of my way of paying homage with the Dallas Hip Hop All-Stars. It's like, hey, these are artists that I respect, that I feel like may not be the most recognizable people in the city, but if they had that same push, you would hear these guys as much as you hear the everyday other names, the household names that you hear today.
And these are Dallas-Fort Worth artists, or mainly?
These are all Dallas-Fort Worth artists from the Dallas-Fort Worth surrounding area, all entirely.
Now, do you have any slots that are available? And again, explain to people how you are accepting music, if you still are, or how you accepted the music for it.
Well, this is the first volume. The first volume is wrapped up. It's already done, because this is an all-star seasonal mixtape. So right now, that is all-star season a week with last week, doing the final adjustments on it and putting it together. And it's pretty much wrapped for this volume 1. So volume 2 is the next album, the next compilation I'm working on next month. So we're going to do an R&B one next month, then we'll come back following with another hip-hop fuse one that may have hip-hop and R&B. But right now, this one's pretty much wrapped. I have about 10 artists, including myself, on the compilation. So it's 2 tracks per artist. So that's about 20 cuts.
All right.
So, going to show a little versatility. We got some up-tempo, got some slow stuff. And everything's not hardcore. Everything's not just hip-hop driven, like, with the lyrics. And we show a little bit of everything. We give everybody some shine. We got a couple of tracks in here with a lot of melody. We got a lot of tracks with straight lyricism. We got some tracks where it's turn up, if that's still what they say, still turn up type thing. So I think that it's well balanced is what I'm saying. I didn't want to give you one sound that I like. I went out there and got some things that particularly I may not be a fan of, but I still know a good record when I hear it, if that makes sense.
Right, and so the way that it's set up right now, the compilation submissions have closed. You are getting ready to get
for volume 1.
For volume 1. And what's that time frame that people will have access to this?
This will be out before the month's end.
Okay, and is it digital only? No hard copies, right?
Digital only.
And how are you going to be distributing this? Is it going to hit
this will
line?
Be
how are you doing
this will be, we'll have probably a version of Dat Piff and Reverb Nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, and so basically, let's set this up, and as we go forward, I wanted to make sure people understand we're going to blend in some of the
and I have a silent partner. I'm sorry, Prodigy Records helped me put it together.
Prodigy Records.
Yes.
Okay.
Prodigy.
Where does Prodigy Records at? Let me throw them out there. I don't even know who that is.
They're based out of Vegas. They're based out of Vegas.
Okay. And are they basically? Do they have artists out of the Vegas side, off the West Coast? Where are they?
Right now, they are. I can't familiarize everybody that they're working with, but it was a relationship that somebody got at me, seeing what I was doing with my music. Offered me an opportunity to put together a project with just exclusively my music, James Ford. But I feel like, excuse me, right now I'm in a different part of my career to where we talk all the time about trying to get in that CEO, that A&R seat myself.
Right.
And it's kind of me just saying, hey, you know what? It's not only that I can't say everybody won't like James Ford music, but I'm like, you know what? It's a lot of other artists that I feel are not getting the same shine and the same light. Let me give that love back because it's strength in numbers. So it was about that. It's all promotional. Everybody that's involved in the project knew that it's not for sale. These artists all have these songs online, so you'll be able, like you said, we'll be able to shoot out the links and the websites for these songs for people to go and check them out themselves. But I think together on the collective, the way we're putting it together, it actually will shine a lot of light to show that these are all DFW artists in one area, with the versatility that you normally don't hear on regular radio format.
Okay, and we've got 3 of those tracks that are going to be on the project play today. So let's start off. Take give everybody a taste for what the mixtape is. The street compilation is going to sound like. Tell me which one you want me to drop in first.
Well, we give them choices. Come my man D Slim. He's from Oak Cliff. We got Choices by D Slim. Y'all check him out. Up and coming artist. I had the pleasure of meeting through Facebook, and we met publicly at a shoot that I did about 2 years ago at CD Source. Set out by my man A. Belfield, set it up, and I met this guy. He's out of Oak Cliff. Incredible lyricist, if you ask me. And if you know anything about Oak Cliff music, it has more of a harder street sound. But he's kind of coming from I'm going to let people check it out. The song is called Choices, This or That. So that's kind of what we give you on this compilation that we putting together. So Choices by D Slim is one of my favorite ones on the track too, on the cut. Yo, we back from the Royal Flush, and you listen to my man D Slim with that Choices. This or that. This or that. You can get with this. He kind of brought that back. Y'all remember that Black Sheep. The choice is yours. But that's my man D Slim out of Oak Cliff, Texas, OKC. I don't think they really heard a lot of cats that's coming with it like D Slim, man. And he has a very wide variety of sound and style to his music, man. And this dude has a lot of knowledge in the game, and he's grinding. I see him every day online. He's constantly grinding, study getting his stuff out here, man. His musical IQ is very high, and I still think that, like we mentioned before on break, that the DFW area is full of talent, and I just want to just get in the driver's seat and just put together like a Avengers, like the hip hop Avengers in this area. Hey, you got Iron Man working with Thor and Hulk over here, and I'm just really big into showing a lot of the talent that's out here, to not just to my liking, but just to the world, to say, hey, we got a lot of different variety here. It's not just dance music in Dallas. It's not just trap music in Dallas. Or just period. I'm saying, like, hey, it's a lot of different sounds here of dope artists. Just take what you like.
And I've had thoughts about how people consider the music scene in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I went through the process where I felt, it's all this dance music, and people hate the stanky leg, and people hate the Ricky Bobby and the Bob do the Bobby and Bobby B, and I have
instructional music. A lot of instructional music.
Tell you
what to do.
Oh, it'll tell you how to do, but that was what the jerk was, and that's what Do the Monkey was, and those things were songs back in the day. I mean,
Do the Twist.
I mean, I wasn't even born when the Twist came out, but
the Hustle.
The Hustle was one part of what my time frame was. But you have people that do these things, and I went through a period of disgust with the Dallas scene as far as dance songs. And I will admit that from a music and from a business standpoint, first of all, they weren't marketed correctly. They were bastardized, and they were taken away from these young men who did these songs as far as the power of what those songs were.
Oh, yeah. We talking about that infamous Dougie.
Oh, I mean, the Dougie, and I mean, think about the Stanky Leg, and for that matter, I mean, look at
those two were very big.
But the thing I'm getting to also is they are still mentioned, and people still talk about them to this day. Kevin Hart doing the song, and he was doing the Stanky Leg and whatever this new dance. What's the dance that
the Nene.
The Nene, and they all when they're doing it, they'll throw a Stanky Leg move, or they'll.
I think Nene mentioned Stanky Leg in the song, didn't it? In the chorus.
And that's why I'm saying and I will admit my own misunderstanding for the power of what was going on. I was so concerned with the fact that people would look at Dallas as a one-trick pony. I wasn't doing until later when I understood from the business side. I was just looking at my disgust with it, period. But from a business side, they didn't, and everybody did from Dallas. I mean, most of the artists that are able to produce more than one song, they were just angry, literally pissed, because of the fact that
everybody got labeled. Everybody in the area got labeled. I mean, as a matter of fact, what they did is that since Dallas was the voice of the state, at that point in time, they labeled everything in Texas as Stanky Leg or everything as Dougie.
Well, but what happened, it was Dougie, it was Bobby B, it was Ricky Bobby. I mean, you went through that whole list. What we failed to capitalize on and what we failed to understand was people wanted to hear, younger people especially, and we're talking young people, they wanted to hear that, and they wanted to dance to it. They wanted to do it. It was fun. And the older group, which was the 20 and 25 and up, were just like, man, Dallas has so much more than this. We shouldn't be doing no Stanky Leg. Man, this should have capitalized on it. And I don't think that I should have seen Tuck or Tum Tum doing the Stanky Leg. I'm not saying that. But it should have been embraced and said, hey, little bro, why don't y'all go on tour with us? Why don't y'all come in and we do this together, blah, 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 because
I agree.
Those young men.
Strength in numbers like I'm doing right now, like I was just talking about.
Oh, yeah. You said something very important. It's basically the Dallas Avengers type thing. The Avengers are symbol. They all do their own thing other than the Hulk, who just basically wreaks havoc anywhere he is. It's the bull.
Yeah.
The world is the China shop, and the Hulk is a bull, basically.
And you can only handle so much, but you got Hulk down low, you got Iron Man up top.
That's what I'm saying. You got the brains of it, and the Hulk. You're getting. Well, again, we going into that, but your thing as far as the assembling of those people, everybody has their own world, and then they come together and they do their thing. And I think basically that's what needs to happen in this city. There needs to be basically a hip hop Avengers assemble and get together and
we take it ourselves. Like I said, we're self-contained at the same time, and that's the thing I was looking at, is that we can all sit back and complain and whine about DJs and everybody doing this and overcharging and producers. As you know how I stand with all that. It's a lot of politics or politics to the music business, period. But like we said, a lot of the control is being given back to the artists, especially the indie artists. We determine our own destiny at this point in time right now. And another thing, what I noticed about my career as I've been doing hip-hop for the past few years, is that I don't have a entourage that I roll with. You know that, Kay. I don't have a crew, or I'm not a part of a association. When you look at it, the days of crews and groups and quartets are very slim. Everybody is a one-man army right now, or a one-woman army. You had Young Money, probably was the last of the dynasties that we can think of, and you see what they're going through right now.
Oh,
Young Money was the last, and you got TDE, but Kendrick Lamar is the most known out of it. But you have cliques and things of that nature. But I've always been a solo act myself, without really having a crew or a lot of rap friends that I had. So I've always stepped out and taken the time. Me, Kay, I've always reached out to other artists. So I'm just doing what I've always been doing. But this time it's like, say, you know what? I want everybody that's ready. I want people on an elite level that really just needs the attention. You know, we always talk about that. People that don't know how to grooming is that they know how to go in and record. They know what it means to have your record mixed, mastered. They know how to look out there and see that, hey, this person's online presence is here. You know, we talked about that. They have a presence. You know, they have a brand that they're building on. I mean, right now, I think in this day and age, the day of the homegrown artist is available, but then if you're going to be homegrown, that quality has to match that of the machine. If it's not close, you know, we all talk about that, okay, if it's not close, then you'd better be better off not presenting it right now because there's so much out here.
Well, you can't do it. You can't. And people they do not agree with that, and they'll present it anyway.
You know, we can hear music from people that think they can do it. We'll let those people remain nameless.
Well, and it's not a matter of money either. I mean, we know people that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we know people that have paid to be in the best studios in the city of Dallas. And I've been in the best studios in this city. So I understand the opulence that is a Luminous and things of that nature. It's not foreign to me. I understand it, but I also do understand there are people in studios that may not be as big and as expensive as Luminous, like The Kitchen, who produce basically major artists and have good rooms, and you can get quality product out of it. But we've had a situation where there are a lot of people, and it's not just Dallas, but people are just enamored. It's a beauty contest for a lot of people. And they feel that, well, I can't make a hot song in somebody's bathroom because now I'm at the level to where I need to go to Luminous. Now, you can go to Luminous and get because professionally, yes, that's the best studio as far as just the way it is and the money you're going to pay. If you have $150 an hour, power to you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you are someone who really is a talented person and you may not have 150, you can check into The Kitchen and get quality work out of it. And people couldn't tell you whether it came from Luminous or The Kitchen. I can guarantee you that.
I agree. It's how you engineer it.
Yeah, but you have to, as an artist, understand that. So another morsel for the artists that will be listening to this and listening to the podcast, don't just let your homeboys and your homegirls and your family say your stuff is hot. Yeah, they will gas you till you blow up, but that explosion will not be you becoming a major artist. It will be you blowing money because we can burn through some cash flow, people.
I heard Timberland say on the radio this morning. He was doing an interview here, and on one of the stations, and he said, in order to get the best out of yourself or himself, he said you got to keep a lot of no yes men around you.
There you go.
You need that one person that's going to be true for those people that's going to say, nah, that's not it, man. You know, everybody's not going to be a fan of your music, and that's something that's been an artist. I remember Erykah Badu said, the great Erykah Badu, that I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about my shit. Remember that quote?
Yeah, but that's just it. You can be sensitive, but be real. Don't
be real. Yeah.
Don't think that you don't stink. There is, as you started the show off, that artist Kanye. He feels that there is nothing that he can do. I honestly believe this in my heart. Okay.
He's still a teddy bear. Don't forget, he don't promote it. I call him the teddy bear.
Yeah, he is what he is. But I honestly believe that Kanye doesn't feel anything that he releases to the public is bad. I think he feels he has created so much music behind the scenes that anything that he allows us, nothing does. Anything he allows us to have the honor of hearing because he put it on a project is golden, and we should treat it as such. And that's not true. Period.
We're not that's true. That's why you have cuts that don't make the album, right?
And again, but he's telling us, and there are people, take Prince, take Michael Jackson, take Stevie Wonder. You can go down the list of great artists. You can go down the list of artists that don't even remember they made stuff, like Parliament Funkadelic and George Clinton. They got probably stuff in his vault. They were so high, they don't even remember recording this stuff. But Kanye has gotten to the level of, quote, genius to where he feels that anything he enables us to hear or any clothing that he designed, which we can go into that too if we want to rip into his ace about that. But he thinks that anything he allows us to partake in is gold, is platinum, and that's not just not it. He is not the monster in the industry that he used to be, to me.
He should be. You know, at this point in time, you look at where he's at. You know, if he was actually into building his own brand, and I think that was the infamous argument he was having with Sway Calloway on the Sway Morning Wake Up Show, you know, and Sway was asking him, why don't you just do it yourself? Why do you need these brands like Nike and quote-unquote Adidas? You build a brand up yourself. You have your followers, man, that will go and buy whatever you put out because they love Kanye West. You don't need. And I think it was his issue of saying he didn't want to spend his own money. He'd already gotten to a point to where he was in the red for spending his own money on ideas that didn't come into fruition before. And I'm like, that's the risk you take. You know, you take that risk of putting, 12, 13 tracks out that somebody may not want to buy this album. Somebody may only like one song. They may not like any of the songs that you put out. But that's a risk that you take as an artist, as an entrepreneur, anything, you know, as a radio podcast host, as we're doing, as a business owner. You know, people, the general public may not eat it. They may not swallow it. They may look at you and say, okay, that's all you got. So you have to have the mental fortitude to say, you know what, if they don't like it, I'm good enough that I'm pretty sure I got something in the archive that I can come up with if somebody's going to feel. That's how I feel about anything that I do. It's like, hey, if they don't like this, I'm pretty sure I can come back with something. They may not like everything, but I got something for you.
But it's also business and understanding business and taking the advice of people that are business-minded or just level-headed. And
True.
As we did the Throwback Thursday show yesterday on So Metro Radio, and that's featuring Big D and James IV. We do that at 11 o'clock, plugging.
Oh, yeah.
But you said something yesterday that I feel also is something that I believe is part of Kanye's problem, and I do think he has a problem, an issue, whatever you want to call it. When he lost his mother, which I think was a grounding force, as you mentioned yesterday, in his life, she was the balance for that creative Kanye. Okay, and when you lose somebody that has been that important to you as a person first, then I think even because she kept him balanced as a person.
That one person that's going to check you at the end of the day.
Right, and she kept him balanced as a person, so she also, that helped him to make good business decisions and keep his business and artistic side going in the
And
right
it reflected
direction.
in his music.
Exactly. It kept him balanced, and so it kept his head straight. We know if your head is not right, it affects how you work. It affects how I eat. It affects how I do things in business. It affects how you write. It affects if you even want to write, you know, as an artist. So I think it really affected him deeply, and the balance isn't there. He is not balanced with his lovely wife, all wonderful as she can be. I just don't feel she has brought the balance to his life that he needs. And so he's putting out music that, you know, Dr. Dre has not literally put physically anything out until he did the stuff for the movie. He kept sticking his toe in the water. It wasn't even a toe. It was a little toenail. Yeah. And if he didn't get people that say, man, you just got to come back, man, this is fire. He just basically, you know, stepped back and kept making money with beats and kept making money. Kanye is not.
He made so much money in the film world off that last movie itself. He's, you know.
I mean, he had more money from just selling the Beats thing and the headphones than he even made with the movie. So, he took his time and is still taking his time, because I don't think, and you can tell me as the historian of hip hop, if the actual project, the music from the movie, how did it even do? Did it just go out there and kill?
I mean, I think it did decent. I mean, it didn't do what his past work did, but just off the, curiosity of hearing something from Dre over these past few years, he actually put it out, and I heard that some of the music was new. It wasn't any old any old music. He's been sitting there. Yeah, it was new. It was new music that he actually said after seeing the film inspired him to get in there and put it together. But from what I know, it was pretty successful. You know, he released everything through through Apple. You know, everybody's sticking to that brand now. You know, he released everything exclusive through Apple, then put it out through iTunes. You had to go through Apple to get the project. So I think when you limit it and you cut out all the other middlemen, that you're going to have a lot of individual success, because anytime you put a cap on it, you know, people are kind of more interested and more curious about it. You can only get it here. Oh, let me tap into this. It's that mystique about it.
Well, but you also have people that don't have access to it that way. Now they feel a way about it, because then it's going to be pirated and they're going to get it
I was
free.
Going to say that was my next thing. That's my next. I waited a week and I was hearing tracks off YouTube.
See. I mean,
yeah.
I mean it. And to me, there's a level of money where it doesn't bother you as much, and he's at a level to where his money is so long, it didn't affect him that it was
those losses he took. Yeah.
It was just
music
different.
is not his main means of income at this time being. So yeah,
not even close. And it's like even with Jay-Z does not produce something every 6 months, every 2 years, every whatever. Jay-Z does it when he feels like it. And
he already said that when he retires, okay, that he said when he retires that it won't be mentioned. You'll just look up and like, hey, Jay had put a project out in about 5 years.
And,
like,
and it'll be because I ain't doing it no more.
He said he said when he next time he does, it will not be an announced retirement. It's just that he said he'll forever organically throw something out here. But the days of Jay-Z trying to consistently come back every 2-3 years with an album to sell 2 million records, he doesn't have to do that anymore. He can just drop a single on, what did he do? The last project. He put it up for a day and it sold 1 million in a day.
Right. It's basically, or he went through in his last project, which they're changing the music industry and they're changing the business side. He basically
it was distributed through Warner Records, distributed.
Right, and Samsung basically said everybody that's got this phone gets a copy of this, and then the music industry was trying to say, well, we're not going to count that. No, you got to count it. It was paid for because Samsung, I'm damn sure, paid him to do it. So it basically you release it to everybody that has this device, which again is a change in how this industry works. It was not physically possible to do this in 1996. You couldn't.
And then his wife comes right behind him and kills the same way.
And she's the one who, I believe, just from her standpoint, she will be.
That told him to do
artist. Well, she'll be an artist for a while because she enjoys it. It's part of her being. She is not a great actress. Let me say it again. Love her.
We agree.
I love her. But no, she is not going to be an Academy Award-winning actress. And she knows it. It's not like she's trying to say anything about it.
She stayed away from film for a while because of that.
Yeah, but she's doing what she wants to do. She's enjoying herself. She got more than enough money. She is a mother, and she has a family. So she's chill right now. She doesn't have to...
But she never sells another record, she'll be okay.
Oh, please. She'll be okay from the time between her and her husband, because now that's intertwined, there is no she will want for anything in her life anymore. So, but she loves performing. You got to love performing to be in those heels like that, dancing like that. That's something.
They are worth $1 billion together.
Period. Oversaid, done. So he can continue to do the business thing, which I'm sure he's enjoying. Did you see the picture of him laughing at the TV when the woman? Was saying
about
the drug dealer.
For 14 years, and the guy was like, "Wow, Jay, you selling drugs for 14 years?" For 14 years, here I am. He was like, they said, I was wondering, I said, who was the person that's keeping track every year?
Yeah. Who was out there? Were you turning in your taxes? Drug dealer profits $5 million. Drug dealer profits $200,000. Yeah, okay. Right.
It's a 7 year.
Yeah, you've been doing this. Okay, man. Since you've been doing this for 10, we'll give you a business loan for the drugs. Come on, people. It's just not the way that. Part of this earth likes to explain things, and they like things to be in a nice, pretty package. And whenever something doesn't fit their mold, it's something wrong with that thing. And what they don't understand is that creative people build the molds. They create the molds. Now, you may not like what comes out of it when you first see it because you don't understand it. But when you see other people loving it, what they try to do is bastardize it, which is, make money off of it, which, is the other thing that upsets the hell out of me. Or B, they denounce it until it basically overcomes them, and then they try and make money for it. So I'm not giving them any props on anything right now. None, period, none. So, but we need to get in another track from one of the artists. Tell me which one you want to throw in there next.
Oh, yeah, this is my man, AV the Great. He's out of Denton, the Denton, Texas area, cool cat. Actually, he's been doing a lot of SoundCloud. He's on Timbaland's SoundCloud. Timbaland actually went through and somebody directed him to the music, and Timbaland actually put this song up on his page. So y'all can check that out on SoundCloud.com, AV the Great. The name of the song is Small Giant. And I think this cat got something coming in the next couple of months. So it was an honor to put him on the project as well. And I let everybody check it out. See what y'all think about this AV the Great, Small Giant. He's talking to these industry heads out here.
If Nas heard this, I be on so up anybody that you think on. I be the best investment you ever banked on. Let's go. Shit.
Yo. It's your man James IV. Back on Yes Sir FM. This is the Royal Flush, pumping nothing but the toughest, roughest, raw shit. You know how we do it. And you listen to my man AV the Great, Small Giant. That boy got something, man. I'm telling you. I mean, Timbaland's in town today, as a matter of fact. He's going to be at Club Truth. So y'all go and check out Timbo the King. Shouts out to my man AV the Great, Small Giant, doing big things. Y'all check him out. He's one of the artists that's on the mixtape. That's on the. Look at me, I'm already getting caught up in it. And on the compilation, talking about mixtape, on the compilation, and that's Dallas Hip Hop All Stars Volume 1 coming to you soon.
Yeah, and people that that are listening in now, and though that you're going to hear the podcast. Whenever you hear that someone is in Dallas, they're not just here collecting a check. I'm going to tell you that straight up. They are surveying territory. They're probably making connections with people.
Oh, yeah.
In this city, in the background, and they are looking for heat. Man,
they want that credit, man. They want that credit to say, hey, you know what? And that's what we're trying to do. We're actually here on Yes Sir FM and the Royal Flush. We're here to springboard that. Like I said, it's not just. I'm actually taking a back up in the actual. In the CEO seat, A&R seat myself, not trying to take credit for these guys because everybody's individually doing their own thing as I myself. But I'm saying, hey, if you're not just listening to James IV, we have a very wide selection of guys. If you're not into this, we got this. If you're not into that, how about this? And I think once you show love, you get love back.
Well, and you have to be willing to, first of all, show it, but then you have to be willing to accept it in a gracious way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people, the industry of hip-hop is based on egos for the most part, or has been for years. And it's kept people from working together. It's kept people from respecting other people and promoting other people. And, what's wrong with saying somebody got something that's hot if it's hot? Period.
Hey, we're playing chess over here. We make the first move.
Well, and that's the way it should be. But the other part of it is, even if you don't respond, if it's hot, I'll still respect you, and I'll still say you got something hot. Now, from a personal level, you may not be worth a damn, and I'm not going to work with you on a personal level. But, hey, if you got some hot music there, and even those songs I talked about earlier, the Stanky Leg and some of them, again, they were songs that they got young people especially moving, and some of them were not, I don't think they were like artistic masterpieces.
but I do give them that heads up. Like, I think what you're probably going to say is that it did give that light to a lot of artists in this area, and I have to have respect. I may not particularly be a fan, and I'm not just talking about them in general. I'm saying anybody, quote unquote. I may not particularly be a fan myself, But I do respect the movement. I do respect that. Hey, they're still bringing that light and that attention here, because you may stumble across something with the intentions of hearing this and say, hey, these guys cracked the door. You know, these guys actually cracked it to where we can get our leg in and show, hey, if you like this, how about checking this out? So I got to give applause to those artists that's already set the bar for putting themselves out here.
And that's the key thing. When they opened the door, there were people that didn't take advantage of it, and then there were people that blocked the door because they said, well, you know, K-Rose, you ain't going through the door unless I go in there with you and make this money with you.
And if it's not this, then we ain't letting it in. If it's not like this, we're not letting it in.
They blocking the door, and they're not letting anybody through because they don't feel that they're going to get, quote, paid.
Yeah.
And I have run So Metro Radio and Yes Sir FM now for going on 5 years consistently. I haven't been offline for 5 or 6 days. I haven't been shut down for 60 days. I haven't changed the name. And throughout this entire time frame, I have never accepted any money to play anyone's music. I have promoted people from a marketing standpoint. Hey, it's like advertising on TV. If you want your commercial to run and it's not nonprofit, you pay. And so I do have marketing monies that I make, but if I like music, if my team likes the music, it plays. Now, it needs to be mixed and mastered. I'm not going to put something where the levels are out of whack or it's a mumble fest. But I'm always here to promote people that are making good music. I'm going to be promoting this project. I'm promoting the artists that are on this project. I'm making sure people understand our time. It's not a next thing as far as I am concerned with Dallas.
We're building our own doors.
We're building our own industry here. If you want to, there are so many talented artists in Dallas. There are some young men out of Oak Cliff that won a jazz Grammy this past week. And they're straight out of Oak Cliff, travel around. They play for different bands around the world with different artists. And they're out of Oak Cliff, Texas. People.
I think I heard something about that. I think they made an appearance on one of the TV shows not too long ago, matter of fact. I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, and these people, we're talking about people that beat, greats like Marcus Miller, one of the greatest bassists there is on the planet, okay? They got a Grammy and have won Grammy. So Dallas does have some really talented artists, hip-hop, R&B, musicians. Natural Change is another band that's made up of musicians that play for people from around the world, and they play for major artists when they come into Dallas. There's talent here. We just haven't had the opportunity to just have that 2 or 3 people beyond Erica. And,
been coming in spurts.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple that people know about, DeRoe and Erica, and then you had the Stanky Leg, the G-Spot Boys, GS Boys, but it was G-Spot.
I forgot about them already.
That was Stanky Leg. And either were talented. These young men were talented. They weren't trying to do anything but have fun, which they did, and they put the Dallas scene on the map. And then it was the responsibility of the other artists to take it from there and get out there.
Mr. Pookie, Mr. Lucci.
Yeah. I mean, it's a list of people, Tum Tum, Tuck, as I said. I mean, there's a long line of people that have done things.
And I look at it like this. The documentary that I tried to make about 2 years ago, we tried to make it there to the We From Dallas documentary. They're actually going to air that, I believe, this Saturday at what is that, the club, the RGC? What is it?
RBC. RBC.
They're going to be airing that this weekend, this Saturday. They'll be airing that down there. So y'all get a chance, all the listeners, We From Dallas. I don't have the producer, the director guy's name. Maybe we'll shoot that out and throw a link on the page to show love. But DOC's in there, of course. My man Head Crack from the Ricky Smiley Show is in there. S1 from Strange Fruit, he's in there. And I think Doc mentioned something about it. He said something to the fact that he came and backdoored his way through the game, being from Texas. He said he came through the back door and went to Cali before he was able to even come back to the fact that he's from Texas. And I tell people all the time, I said a lot of people knock Doc or the DOC for not mentioning and not really been a avid representative of Texas hip hop at that point in time. He was like, there was no Texas rap scene. There was no South at that time. You were either East Coast, and at that time the West Coast was just bubbling. So he was like, what was I supposed to do? These are the guys that put me on. You know, I had to do it a certain way to get my name out here.
Well, and at that time especially, you had to be part of the music industry in some way. East Coast or the West Coast started to bubble up, as you said. You couldn't just say, oh, by the way, I'm from Texas. They would have looked at him like he was nuts.
And not that he never did mention it or did say it. I tell people, I said, don't forget that the DOC, the great DOC, put out one solid project that he had a voice on. So I'm like, before he got a chance to bubble, before he got a chance to interview, before he got a chance to really get out here and put his name and where he was from out here, he had the accident. So what was he supposed to do? He wasn't even before the project was done and publicly put out. He was out of there. He didn't have a chance. He didn't really have a chance to publicize himself at that point in time. So I'm like, what did you expect him to do? You know, he didn't even have a voice by the time that album was complete, and he was a worldwide phenomenon for the album. By the time people listened to the project, he couldn't even speak anymore.
Right. He couldn't go out and perform. He couldn't take advantage of that publicity and from that, basically from the project itself. But the way the business was, it's not as much that way now, but the way the business was at that time, you basically were brought into the industry by someone, i.e. basically, you know, NWA brought themselves in by selling units and just taking over. But then they opened the door for him. But as you said, he couldn't do anything because of circumstances. So all these people knocking him, y'all need to knock yourselves from now. Y'all armchair quarterbacking again. Okay. So
I tell people that all the time. Somebody tried to break that down to me, telling how he didn't represent. I'm like, dude, do you understand that by the time his second single was released, he had no voice? What was he supposed to do? What interview? How many old DOC interviews can you pull out when he first came out? You show me a DOC interview that he was more than maybe one or two where he was actually able to publicize his album. I said before the album was complete and released, he was already out of there.
And he did what he was able to do, which he was good at doing. He was a writer from that point. It was like, hey, the voice is gone. I can't even perform. But my skill set, my mind is still there. So that's what he did. But people out of Dallas, people maybe have been in Texas or whatever, you know, don't get all bunched up about it.
He was signed for 2 years, actually, Kay, before his album dropped. He was already over there a year and a half. Like you said, he was a year and a half writing for Easy and NWA before his project. You know, I tell people all the time, I say, before he can actually put himself on, he had to prove himself. He was writing for Easy with NWA. So don't forget, I tell people all the time, like, Easy came out first, right?
Yep.
Then NWA came out. And then they released the DOC. So he said his project was out the same time that they were pushing NWA and Easy. So you don't have a lot of time, you know, besides trying to put your. He's opening act for NWA on tour. So he said he's come out and performed his record that wasn't even on the radio yet.
Right, and people respected it because he was there, and they knew he was part of what the movement was. But
whoever that guy is, he's pretty nice.
He's hot. Okay, but they didn't even know he was writing for some of those other people they would see later in the show. So, you know, people just support where you are. Support your artist. I know all those artists. It's a lot of bad music out there, so I'll preface it by saying that. But there are some good artists out there. So don't just throw everybody away because you don't like what 5 or 10 of them, which may be the more vocal ones. A lot of times some of the worst artists are the loudest ones. They're the ones you see all the time. But that's the way it is. We wade through some of the boo-boo and get to
this is the royal-flush.
Get to some of the real artists that are out there. We're wrapping the show up, and we have one more song to play from this new compilation that you got coming out.
Yes, Dallas Hip Hop All Stars, which is tentatively set to release by the end of this month. We will have a date to generate within the next couple of days or so y'all check that out on Yes Sir FM, Royal Flush. And my man coming up is J Peace, artist J Peace. He's in the Dallas area, DFW area, by way of Chi-Town, Chicago. So he's been here to my recollection for the past couple of years. So Dallas is his second home. Right now he's been here representing, putting it down. I had a chance to meet this guy online through another producer, Jay Smith. Y'all may know him as Jamar the Funk Junkie, formerly now Westcliff. So what's up? Mr. Westcliff, I'm doing some things actually with Mr. Westcliff in the next few days or so, so we'll be getting back at it, okay? But yeah, this is J Peace. You ain't big.
Hey, and we're at the end of the show, so tell everybody how to hear the show, when it's on, what you do on Soul Metro. Give everybody the breakdown. Y'all
check it out. Y'all can catch me actually the day before I do my show, The Royal Flush. I'm on Throwback Thursday with my man Big D, K Rose. My man, one and only James IV is me. Myself, we do that every Thursday. We do that, shoot that show at 11 o'clock a.m. until 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Y'all can check that out on Soul Metro. If you ain't got the Soul Metro app, y'all go and get that, by the way. And every Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S., you check out my show, The Royal Flush, where we pump nothing but the realest shit. And we're shooting that. Actually, we're going to be replaying that show later on this evening. I believe that's 10 o'clock p.m. Would that be 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time tonight, okay?
10 Central, 11 Eastern.
11 Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. So y'all check this out, man. We have another couple of shows coming, and we will be debuting more artists that's on this mixtape. That's Dallas Hip Hop All Stars. Letting y'all check out some of the greatest artists in Dallas, Texas. And y'all check out my man, J Peace. He's talking to y'all out there. You ain't big. He's letting you know pretty much that don't get beside yourself until you get out here and put your hustle and your grind in. So nice joint. I like it, man. J Peace, what's up? What's up, J Peace? Keep doing your thing out here. Y'all check out these artists all along with myself, James IV. I have some new project material coming soon. So y'all just stay tuned, baby. We loving it. Royal Flush.
Yeah. It's your boy B-Easy, and we got a special request for y'all. The homie Peace just dropped off a banger entitled You Ain't Big.
Hey, what's up? You just listened to a podcast of my show, The Royal Flush. Check it out live Friday night, 10 o'clock Central Time, and check out the replay Saturday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time on the Get Global Network. Yes, sir.